Today started my 30-day project. I decided to do hopscotch because it's a very universal game, and I wanted to do something that I did in my childhood because nowadays I don't get the chance to do childhood activities. However, I discovered that I'm pretty out of shape, or hopscotch is a very difficult task. Maybe it was because I was out in the sun. Either way, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought. I'm already tired and bored of it, and it's only been one day. I didn't want to draw a whole hopscotch in the train station. I'm pretty introverted at times, and people were already eyeing me suspiciously. I thought someone might report me. They do have a no loitering sign. Does this count? What I did was number the square tiles on the floor. Although I didn't draw the whole thing out, this took me longer to set up because I kept on looking around. It felt better today, probably because the squares were further apart, or maybe because I placed lower. Or maybe it was because I cheated, because I didn't really land on the squares. I was kind of landing in lines, so I don't know. The only time I had to spare was around noon. I got home from a meeting and I wasn't going to have time to change, so I jumped in my dress and heel sandals, which is a bad idea. It was a bad day for jumping in general. I didn't want to draw with the chalkboard because I don't want to have to clean that up, so I used tape. But since my space was limited, I went in a really weird loop. But I think what I'm liking best is having to come up with the designs of the game. However, not in sandals. I like hiking on Sundays, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. I wanted to keep my design idea, so I found a circular resting spot where to play. If I was following the official rules of hopscotch, I'd have been banned, and it's only been 4 days. I drew it in a semicircle, but since my ankle is a little messed up, I was using the bench around the circle to help me jump from square to square. I'm really tired. I went to the train tracks today. It was crazy because I'm a scaredy cat. I kept on looking up wondering if the train was coming. Any noise I heard, I looked around for the train. I decided not to use the actual tracks because of this, so instead I went to the gravel next to the tracks. Jumping on rocks is hard. I kept on almost falling because my foot was sinking. I twisted my ankle again, but it really didn't hurt that much. I went high and slow. This project's gonna end up with me getting hurt. I stayed indoors today. I didn't want to go outside because it was too hot, but I gotta admit, every time I play this inside, even though it's only been twice, I feel like really wacky, like for some reason I can't go outside, like I'm locked inside, which made me think about being back home. You know, like when I was younger, I used to play outside, but now the violence has gotten so bad that really kids are scared to play outside, and a lot of them don't have a front yard or a backyard, so they're forced to play like this, you know, kitchen hopscotch. It's probably not that bad, but I don't know. Wednesdays are going to be hard on me. I leave my house around 5 a.m. and I get back home around 10 p.m. The only time I have is at night. So I repeated the scene from my first day. Slightly moved, but man, was I tired. I'm not sure if my tendonitis is acting up again because my knee was kind of hurting today. I had to go sign some papers at the office from the place that rents our house. While I was waiting, I drew hopscotch in the parking lot. It was around 3 p.m. so the kids were getting out of school. I found it super interesting that they all looked at me like I was crazy. Do kids not play this sort of thing anymore? It's really kind of saddening that they're all so digitized. I mean, I'm too, but every time I see a hopscotch drawn on the floor, I have to jump through it. It's like the law, you know? I feel ancient. I was walking around my neighborhood, wanting to find the right spot to jump. It was a gloomy day, so I thought I'd find a happy spot. Instead, I found a lonely alley. I really liked how it looked, and since I was wearing my jacket, I felt like a badass. I think I made myself too suspicious sometimes, trying to be sneaky and pretending I'm not doing anything. Nobody was around though, so I was just being paranoid like always. I don't know. I think I'm getting in shape. The crappiest place I could think of, or well, one of, is the DMV. Hopscotch I've always related to happiness or innocence, which is the opposite of what I feel every time I visit the DMV. I took advantage of my visit to jump, or maybe cheer myself up after my visit. Fortunately, my visit wasn't too bad, and I was in a really good mood when I got out. I tried to pick up a place far enough so I wouldn't get in trouble for damaging government property. But you know, it was fun. People got cheered up when they saw me. I didn't really jump much. I decided to do it in my room, figuring the carpet would be softer, but I had to stop after 5 minutes because my knee was hurting so bad. I ended up sitting in the middle of my design and feeling unaccomplished. My childhood is over. Doctor said I need to rest my knee for 3 days. Guess I'm gonna be drawing hopscotch. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. Maybe I should just stop, but I'm committed, so I gotta keep going. I'm really bad at remembering places names. April met up with me at the park right by school today. I was glad not to be doing this by myself for once, although she didn't actually hop with me. I forgot my chalk and tape, so I gathered up sticks I found laying around. This one was both easy and challenging. Easy because the surface where I jumped was spongy and a bit elastic, which eased my jumps, thank God, because I was supposed to rest one more day. The challenging part was figuring out where my squares ended, because the sticks kept on moving around. After I was done, I joined April on the swings. Ah man, my childhood is back. There's a bathroom that I saw at a bus station that I really wanted to use for this project. I decided that since this is more about the experience, the weirder, the better. My camera decided not to work, so I used my phone to shoot. My tape didn't work, and my chalk wasn't with me, so I used the toilet paper to distinguish my squares. It was fun scrambling around and jumping in there. The funniest thing was the guy who saw me go in and come out 40 minutes later. So there's a DWP near my house and they have a pretty sidewalk. I wanted it. I went kinda early so there was a guy nearby watering his sidewalk. I still don't get why people do that. Anyways, I felt super conscious so I set up behind some cars so he wouldn't see me. However, as I was drawing my hopscotch, a guy on a bike came. I think he mad dogged me, probably because he thought I was tagging. Despite that making me feel super self-conscious, I had a lot of fun today. Maybe because of the green. Green makes me happy. Hopscotch isn't good for morning. I wanted to get a workout in today, so I decided to use the stairs in my house. All I'm gonna say is, I am crazy and I am tired. Good night. It was free day at La Brea Tar Pits, which means kids. I wanted to play inside the museum, but it was too packed, so instead I went to the roof where you could see the plant exhibition. I realized this was the only viable place to draw my hopscotch, so I did. I did have to stop here and there because I didn't want to get completely kicked out before finishing. The color I chose blended a little too well with the floor, so most people probably thought I was weird. I'm starting to not mind so much, which is why I'm starting to like this project. Still, no one's playing with me. It's my birthday today. Honestly, I did not feel like jumping today. I just wanted to have fun, but after a cocktail or two, the idea of jumping up and down grew on me. I played at my garage. This one was really fun, I must admit. Maybe it was a cocktail, or maybe it was the company. I don't know. Either way, hopscotch is a great party game. I passed by school today. Although I might have looked a little creepy if I had gone too close to the playground, I went across the street instead. It's a small residential area, so I was fairly close. The kids kind of glanced my way, but they didn't really say much. Then again, I was across the street, so I didn't feel too lonely. I played along the street today. It was early morning, so nobody was out. It was a pretty fast game, or at least it felt like it. Maybe because I was super sleepy. Today really was just a let's get it out of the way sort of day. However, I did notice this tree I'm now dubbing the bird tree. There's so many birds on it that it sounds like it's singing. I went to the park today. Still nobody's playing with me. Actually, there weren't very many people playing at the park, so I didn't want to be in the way in case somebody did get there. So I laid out a hopscotch thing on the grass using tape. It worked out alright. It's getting easier to jump. I'm still getting bored though. Played at church today. It's Sunday, so the school was closed. I didn't realize that the school ground had a hopscotch drawn on the ground. So I didn't have to make one today, but it reminded me of what my mom says, he who seeks finds, so I found. I went to the doctor's today. Everything checked out, so it was good to play hopscotch. Got kicked out by the guard for drawing on the ground though, so I ended up about a block away. The street I ended up had squares in it that really looked like hopscotch squares to me. Then again, I'm kinda just seeing it everywhere lately. I played there. I walked by a factory trying to find somewhere to play. This place looks depressing and I thought it needed some cheer. I played by the side, very near security camera. I kept waiting for someone to come and get me, but no one did. My hopscotch was not normal today. Instead of using squares, I used clothing items. It was my little tribute to them. So there's this bar a couple blocks from my house. It's a very shady place with just the one sports bar neon sign hanging from it. It's closed on Wednesday, so I drew my hopscotch by the entrance. Yeah, this is my sport. Maybe the drunks tumbling out from the bar will jump in my hopscotch and finally somebody will play my game with me. I don't do too well near officials, and I wanted to jump at a police station, but instead I went to the ROTC meeting that they had at an old high school that I used to volunteer for. Yeah, that's as official as I'll get and as close to an enforcer that I'm jumping near. I don't know, not very cheerful. Last day! I wanted to make this big, literally. So I drew a giant hopscotch that went all along my block. The drawing took me so long to do, my back was hurting when I was done, and I only went through it once, or maybe not even. I'm okay with not being a child anymore.